Hey y'all, so I've been asked quite a few times, what is the actual installation technique that I use to install the crochet hair where you can't see a bunch of bulky knots around the partings and around the perimeter. So I decided to go ahead and take a little dive into how I achieve some of my most popular looks. So today, without further ado, y'all, these are 3 of my favorite hidden knot crochet techniques. Before I get started, I'm going to define some of the vocabulary I use to describe the steps I take so that we're all on the same page. The first thing you'll hear me say a lot is pierce. When I say pierce, I just mean take the latch hook and stick it underneath the braid. Next is latch, and the word latch comes from the actual tool we're using, which is called a latch hook. Despite a lot of us calling it a crochet hook, it's a latch hook. So go ahead and take your crochet hair and latch it into the eye of the latch hook. Next, we have pull, which is simple enough. Just pull the latched piece of hair through to the other side of the braid. Your final step is to simply secure the hair in place. But what I'm going to show you here is the old school traditional method of crochet, where we would use one knot and tie it about 2 to 4 times around the entire cluster of hair to secure it in place. As you can see, this leaves a huge, hideous knot right on the part, which is visible on both sides of the braids, despite which side you decide to pull the hair to. That was a tongue twister. Anyway, in this tutorial, I'm using different color braid hair so that you can differentiate between the different techniques that I'm about to show you. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump on into the tutorial with my first technique. This first technique is pretty common, and it involves tying a knot only on one leg of the crochet cluster. Most people do this with their fingers, but I use the crochet hook because it's faster and it makes a click sound every time you do it, and which is why I call it a click stitch. Slow it down. That just means you'll pierce, you'll latch and pull the hair through to the other side of the braid, but instead of pulling it all the way through, you'll slide that back down to the base so that you can latch one leg and pull that through again. And then you'll slide it again and latch that same leg again, and you'll repeat this as many times as necessary until you feel you've done it enough. But on that final pull through, you'll pull that leg all the way through, which creates a knot on one side of the braid but not the other. And you'll repeat this until you have finished your section. This next technique I call a lock stitch because it involves piercing the braid twice to create a sort of lock on top of the braid to secure the stitch. Slow it down. That looks like pierce the braid, latch the hair through, pull the hair through, but not all the way. Slide it back down so that you can pierce the corn row halfway through this time. Grab that one leg, pull it partially through that loop, slide it back down one more time, latch it, and pull that leg all the way through this time, and repeat until you finish your section. This technique is called a chain stitch. This is nothing new to you if you know how to knit or how to crochet as a handcraft, but what I've done is applied this to crochet braids. And what it looks like is this. You'll pierce the braid with your latch hook, you'll latch the hair in through the eye, you'll pull it through to the other side of the braid, and then you'll slide the loop that it creates back down to the base. But instead of pulling the hair all the way through, you'll just pierce the braid again to hold your place, leaving the loop on the crochet hook, as you can see right here. So you'll pierce, you'll latch, you'll pull through, slide it up, grab one leg and pull that through. And instead of pulling it all the way through and tying it, you'll just pierce the section of the braid that's directly next to it so that you can prepare to latch your next piece of hair. And I'm going to show you that again. Slow it down. You'll latch the hair through the latch hook, and then you'll pull it through the loop that was created from the last piece that we left on the base of the crochet hook. So now this is the new loop from the new piece of hair, but you'll slide that down and grab that one leg and pull that through, and you'll create another loop that you'll leave on the crochet hook, and you'll continue that until you finish your section. At the end, I like to split the legs to either side of the braid so that I can see down the middle and tug on either side to secure all of the pieces onto the braid. So as I comb through this braid hair, you can see what each technique looks like with the different colors. You can see how it's knotless on this side. You don't see any knots at the top. But then when you flip it over, that's where you find where the knots are. And this is why these are called hidden knot techniques, where the knots are invisible from one side, but if you flip it over, you can see that they are present on the opposite side of the braid. But that generally doesn't matter because this is not typically the side where you will wear your part. You can see the knots from the click stitch in orange, the lock stitch in pink, and the chain stitch in yellow. But what you also see here is a purple stitch. Now, y'all, this is my original technique. It's double-sided knotless. There are no knots on either side. And with the legs split open on either side of the braid, you can see with the first 3 stitches where the black braid peeks through, but you can't see that with the purple technique. This technique I named the B-stitch technique, and it allows you to wear your part on either side of any braid of your choosing without having to see any knots. Why? Because I'm not stopping to tie any knots. So if that's something you're interested in seeing more of, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you like this video, and drop a comment below. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you at the next video.